How to handle yourself when driving with big rigs. Welcome to episode 34 of Throwing Your Parents Under the Bus podcast. With 170,716 large truck accidents reported in the United States in 1 year, highlights the importance of understanding the factors contributing to these crashes. I'm Jane Ubel, and with me today is veteran crash investigator and driver safety expert Mike Peel, as well as our keeper of enrichments and creator of our social media podcast, Natasha Johnson. Natasha, let's start off today's podcast by listening to one of the students' observations about driving with trucks.
Well, Jane, in addition to what you said, I found that in recent years, there's been significant pressure on the trucking industry to fill the increasing number of vacant positions, which has led to a decrease in the qualifications necessary to obtain a CDL. Our student Jeremy from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, sent us his observation that supports this finding. Jeremy was working on the enrichment activity where we ask our students to ride in a car with their parents and observe other drivers. He says, "My mom and I were driving on the freeway and a huge truck rushed by us and pulled over into our lane. It was scary because it looked like his back end was swaying and we thought he might hit us. Good thing my mom slowed down so she didn't hit him."
All right, Mike.
Okay, so, yeah, don't drive. How's that?
Just don't.
We all need to just stay home because they're out there a lot. And the more you travel, and 70% plus of all of our goods come by truck, just so everybody knows that. So we can't get rid of them. I mean, they're there. Everything that you have in your house probably came from a truck. If it didn't come from a truck, it came from a train. Once again, another big vehicle, right? So we have to intermingle with them. But, you know, I grew up on semis. I rode on semis since I was in first grade. My dad owned a truck company. And they're big, they're bad. And it should be a requirement of driver's ed that we all have to maybe ride in a semi for 1 hour of our driver's ed training. We could get the industry to the truckers industry to allow that to happen. It would just be a good thing. In saying that, the quality that companies now, and I'm not saying all companies are this way, but the quality of drivers we're putting in our CDL, commercial driver's license, which is what you need to drive a truck over 26,000 pounds, we'll put it. You know, folks, these things are 40 tons. They go 80, 90 miles an hour. They have 18 wheels, and the air brakes stop them. I mean, that's scary right there. All right. You got a truck, like the story, this truck swerved in front of them. I'd rather have the truck swerve in front of me and let me be the one to stop instead of that truck swerving in behind me. And now I have to rely on that truck to stop because traffic just stopped in front of me. Once again, we say it a lot in our courses, to the right, to the right, to the right. When that 80,000 pound semi is coming up behind you, do you have the right target picked out to avoid? All right, sorry. If you don't, start getting paranoid about that. So, you know, one of our story, let's just put it this way. With a lot of illegal people coming into the country, and guess what? It's easier for them to, where it's easier for them to get a job is in the construction zone. You know, you can label your drivers of commercial vehicles. You don't get aggressive drivers with your big name companies. Why? Because they have numbers on their trucks that says, "How am I driving? Call 1-800 truck number, blah, 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 blah." And one, you'll see them out on the road, and I'm going to just throw this out there. I don't care. They won't care. Named Schneider Trucking worldwide. Their trucks are all monitored by GPS, no matter where they go. The maximum speed their semis can drive is 60 miles an hour. They get fired, and it's monitored by one person in one location, and they have thousands of trucks on the road throughout the United States. So you know what? We can fix the problem. How do we fix the aggressive trucker? We get more aggressive, your owner operators. When it says owned and operated by Mike Peel, you know, whatever, Minnesota, that person becomes a more aggressive driver because it's not a company, it's them. Your gravel, your construction zone people are very aggressive. They tailgate. And think about this, when a truck is tailgating you, the power that truck has with the weight it has, the mass it has, and it just takes one incident a quarter mile up that we can't even see, and that's where bad disaster happens. So, you know, stay away from the big trucks when you're driving. Try and avoid them. When they get side by side with you, I know this isn't a semi, but when they do get and they're running side by side with you, slow down a little bit so that truck is not with you. If a disaster strikes, the last thing you want to be around is a big semi. Okay. They're big, they're bad, they're ugly, they're going to hurt you real bad. You know, you can avoid them. We have to mingle with them. But we need to always keep in our mind, we don't get comfortable when we're by them. And because we're not going to fix the problem, guys. That industry right now is hurting so bad for people to drive. And until, I guess we have to say, the government gets stricter federally, all right, because it's a state level and then a federal level. And until they get stricter on the rules and pull license away, and then what happens is when they do that, then they get the detriment of now we don't have any drivers to drive these goods around. So where do you pull the pins, you know? And again, it gets right back to we need better training. Training is, you know, training and zero tolerance. We have to maintain a zero tolerance, man. You don't get to do this, you know. Oh, they shouldn't. The speed limit's 70. Remember, way back in the old days, it was speed limit 70 miles. Truckers had to go 55. Remember that? Trucks 55. Speed limit for cars were 70. You know, now that's taken away. So now you got truckers going 80, 90 miles an hour, and they're weaving and going, and so
Yeah, that's hard. And like you said, they like to stop is like 20 to 40% longer than a car. So
Right.
you can be,
if everything is maintained on the truck, think about
yeah,
that.
sure.
You know, we don't know when the last time they had brakes. They're supposed to go through what they call a slack adjuster, which adjusts their brakes. They're supposed to do that every day before they get in the truck. Guaranteed 90% of them are not doing that. So
Yeah.
they, you know, these truck stops that they have to pull over into when you're out on traveling on the roads and the freeways, you know, they make them go through that. And the trucks that get parked there are the violators of that. And like I say, these truck companies that have mechanics that work 24 hours, 7 days a week, like our bus companies, think about that. You know, they're always fixing and looking for the disasters that can happen. But you know what? How many of those just go by that we drive right through, by, around every day we get in a car? So, like I say, my number one word, get paranoid when you're in that car.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. And we are appreciative of truck drivers who
Yes, we are.
bring us our goods, but it's always
Mhm.
good to be aware that, you know, as you used to say, it's like driving with sharks. Okay. They're good with they're probably good with what they're doing, and we're grateful for their service, but you have to watch out for them.
Yeah. And Jane,
Yes.
we don't drive with sharks, we swim with sharks.
Oh,
It's okay.
I guess you're right on that. Oh, well.
I'm good.
Okay. Well, with that said, we want to thank you all for joining another episode of Drive Safe, Ride Safe, and the podcast Throwing Your Parents Under the Bus. And of course, if you want to look for more episodes, you can go to Drive Safe, Ride Safe on YouTube, youtube.drive safe, ride safe, one, the number, not the word. It's already messed that up a little bit. It's the swimming with sharks that screwed me up. But anyway, have a great day. And of course, remember to
Drive safe.
Ride safe.
.com.
All right. Bye, folks.